So hello, everyone. I'm very delighted to be here, and I'm not going to be standing probably behind because I'm a very active guy, so I go run back and forth. And I came all the way from San Francisco, where I live. And obviously, the buzz right now is the US election. But for me, the buzz today is IoT. And I'm more happy to be here, to be honest with you, than to be in the US. But the reason why I'm telling you this, there is a reason. In 2012, Barack Obama has won the election. Do you know the reason? Data science. That made the difference. It was very interesting because Mitt Romney had a pollster. That's the guys basically looking at all the polls and figuring out exactly how you're going to win at the end. And he said, and his name was Neil Newhouse, and he said at the time, Mitt, if we win Ohio State, all the independents over Obama, we will win the election. And you know what he did? He won 7% more than Obama, but he lost the election. Why? Because Obama hired my data scientist, Raid Gaid, who went from Chicago to work for him and built basically a whole data analytics program to be predicting what the voter would be voting. And he's been pouring in the database social media information, all the information of those people to predict a couple of things. Number one is, first of all, are they going to vote for Obama, yes or no? Second thing, would they come for the poll? Would they vote eventually? Third one, if they get a campaign reminder, do they follow it? And every day, they run 66,000 estimates and simulations to figure out about this prediction. And that's how the whole campaign, it worked the whole campaign. And that's how, basically, they could send their volunteers to knock at the door and ask people, go voting. Tell me about what you need to know about Obama. What can we do about this? That's how it made the difference. So the reason why I'm telling you this, it's a big introduction. I'm here to talk to you about the next of IoT. And Accenture believes that the next of IoT, it's all about data processing. We have a formidable opportunity today. That IoT is cheaper, we can do much more things with it, it delivers much more information, and at the same time, AI is the hot thing in the planet right now. We can process cheaper, faster, thanks to storage that is cheaper, thanks to high-performance computing on the cloud, which is cheaper, thanks to open source that give you opportunities to drive so much AI solution. We believe within Accenture that the future of IoT is IoT at the power of artificial intelligence. And that's what I want to talk to you today. All right. So, but first, I'd like to introduce a little bit the labs, Accenture labs that are run globally. And many people don't know that Accenture has been doing research, applied research. In fact, we've been doing that for 30 years, believe it or not. And today, not today, but this year is going to be the anniversary of the lab. I'm pretty excited about this. And on the front row, we have Sanjay Poddar here, who lead our lab in Bangalore, okay? So if I would have to describe the lab very quickly, there is a DNA code name, or a genome. It's 7521. That's it. 7521. 7 is the 7 labs that we run. And we have 7 labs all over the world. Then we have 5 research groups where we do applied research. Okay? Every research we do is to solve a customer problems. Okay? And then out of those 5 groups, we have one group called Systems and Platform. It's all about IoT, quantum computing, computation at the edge, all the stuff that is going to be important for IoT. And the other one is artificial intelligence. And obviously, I mean there are many more. Okay? Then we have 2 big bets. And the big bets is, I love the initial discussion that we had before, which is what we call the combinatorial effect, the convergence of the technology. So the big bets is taking some of the research activities we're doing, combining them together to make something happening. And one big bet is liquid workforce. What we're going to do with the millennium generation working for us, how all those people, how you leverage crowdsourcing and everything. And the second one is Industry X.0. I will come back to Industry X.0 because you will see that's how the weighting or the marriage or the blending of IoT and artificial intelligence is going to be amazing. And the last one is that every year we deliver a technology vision, a set of trends to help our clients to figure out what's going to be their next investment and where they need to focus on. That's it for the lab. Now what I want to talk to you about is this technology waves. I mean, the time that we're living in right now. And I think that time is just amazing. For two reasons. Number one, there's an exponential acceleration of the innovation. And you'll see that in the technology waves. They all converge very quickly. And that's the second thing which is important, is that there's a convergence of those waves. And I want to go back to this. IoT alone will not win. Artificial intelligence alone will not win. But IoT and AI, that is the answer. And eventually more. So that combinatorial effect is going to be key to make our IoT solution more successful, more value-driven, and more exciting. Okay? So, the reason it's important now and why we see so much interest is that there's an explosion of IoT, as we mentioned before, and an explosion of AI. Just for IoT, look at that. We're talking about, Gartner's talking about 21 billion devices by 2020. It's huge. You know, I've been working with a big oil and gas company as my client for Accenture. The CTO would tell me that every 2 years, the sensors are delivering 5 more variables or information they were delivering before. And the price of the sensors are divided by 5 too, which is crazy if you think about it. So more data, more sensors, okay? And you see that IDC predicts that the opportunity is going to be 1.5 trillion. Sensors are everywhere. We just have to leverage them. Now, at the same time, you look at artificial intelligence, look at the patents that is created, 5 times more than in 2006. It's the hot things in the valley. I can tell you that everywhere. Artificial intelligence is mentioned, and especially deep learning. I'll come back to that. And the second thing you see is that also the VCs are investing big time, okay? And when the VCs are investing, it's a good trend. It's a good trend. And we believe that artificial intelligence went through many winters, you know, kind of every 10 years. I mean, I started off basically on neural network running on PDP-11 on VAX more than 30 years ago. So believe it or not, when I was doing the learning on the back propagation of the gradient, it would take me a week to process all my data. And then it went down because we didn't have the power, the computing power. We don't have the storage. We didn't have the data. That's the point. We did not have the data. And with IoT today, we have the data. Okay? So, the third thing that I'd like to explain to you is that there's a pendulum effect between the consumer business and consumer market and the enterprise. I believe and we believe that with IT consumerization, people will get excited about IoT solution. And they'll play with it at home. And they will want the same things in their office. So the millennium generation, they will not stand for something that is not IoT-based, that doesn't bring more machine learning into it. That's what they want. And this pendulum effect that goes from consumer to enterprise, this is something that we see today. Look at this. Echo from Amazon, machine learning, all the IoT that we deploy in your house, all the new protocol that we can use, IFTT and all those things. It's so simple to build application leveraging very cheap IoT devices today. And for AI, just go on open source. You can develop any type of system so fast. That's what's going to make IoT great. Now, I want to give you a definition of IoT, of artificial intelligence, if my slide works. Oops, seems to be stuck. Could you move to the next slide? Looks like I can't move to the next slide. Oh, there you go, it's coming. Oh, that's not the next slide. That's me. It's coming. I'm sure it's coming. So I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence very quickly about what we're talking about, and I want to give you an example after on how we are combining IoT and artificial intelligence. And I want to give you an example because it's all about example. The more example you have, the more you get excited about it, and the more you see the opportunity. So artificial intelligence is a set of disciplines, okay? And it's hard to find one word to define it. So this is the wheel of the success of artificial intelligence. You see everything you can do, from natural language processing, to deep learning, to machine learning, to knowledge representation, and so forth. Our 7 labs are all doing artificial intelligence, big time. Whether we talk about cybersecurity, whether you talk about connected crops, whether you talk about all this manufacturing, it's artificial intelligence with IoT. Now there's a definition, and the definition of Accenture is that we believe artificial intelligence and intelligent systems are every system that sense, comprehend, learn, and act. You see that in the sense, obviously, there's a sensor. That's where the IoT plays. You see that in the comprehend is knowledge representation, and the learning is the machine learning. The act is robotic process automation. If you combine all those technology together, you'll come up with something that's going to be just amazing. But there's a couple of things that you need to remember. Oops. Is the value, should not have done that. Is the value you're going to get out of this combination. What we believe is that by combining the re-engineering of the process so that you can automate that using IoT and artificial intelligence, plus thinking about what's going to be the role of the people in the middle of this new process in the way of working with machine learning and robots, and how you're going to leverage data, done. That's how you're going to connect, basically, and get the best value of this combination of IoT and AI. Because don't get me wrong, what's very important in all this story is not a technology discussion. It's the people. What will do people leveraging IoT and AI? What's for them? How are you going to train people to work with their digital coworker? The robot, the sensor, you're going to equip them with. How are you going to make that? How are you going to make this transformation? Very key. I want to give you a couple of examples now. And I took 2 examples. One is related to tech for good. I am leading globally all our research and development business at Accenture. What's very important for me is not so much to work for a client. Of course, I do work for a client. But what I love is to change the world. Like my kids, they're teenagers, millennium generation. They would not want to work for Accenture. They want to change the world. And I understand that. And with the technology we have at hands today, we can change the world. And I want to talk to you about what we call the technology for good. So how we use technology to help our people, how we help the world, how we manage our assets, or we try to protect them. And the first example I want to give you is RGE. RGE is a big group, okay? It's part of April. And they have like a brand called Paper One. They produce paper, okay? And they have an Indonesian forest. And obviously, I mean, they have millions and millions and millions of hectares. It's complex. The problem is there's a lot of deforestation. And sometimes they want to plant new seedlings and everything to grow again trees, but it doesn't work. It's too late, and they need to be much more proactive to understand what's going on. So they would like to have a situational awareness, how you know exactly what's happening on your forest, basically, and how you can predict that deforestation will be too late, that you cannot intervene anymore. So we work with them. And let me explain you what we did. It's very simple. It's a little bit like our friend Ghani has been doing, for Obama, except that instead of doing that for voters, we're doing that for trees, okay? And instead of using a phone as a sensor to collect the information, we've been using drones. We've been using water table. We've been using sensors on the forest directly to sense the temperature, to sense the humidity. We've been looking at videos. We've been looking at logs from the lumber that were cutting the trees. And we've done that over 15 years on this forest. On 1 million records, 6,000 variables crammed into machine learning, covering 500,000 hectares of forest. The result is this. If you want to survey 25 hectares of forest, which is about 350,000 trees, it would take 2 people 4 days. With my machine learning guy, 5 minutes, done. So that's power of IoT. With artificial intelligence, we compress the time. And because we compress the time, we can act on the forest. That's a very good example of what we've been able to do, and I want to show you the video now. Let's roll the video, RGE plays. No, that's not the video. That's the next slide. Can you go back and click on the RGE? Oops, nope. Click on the picture. We did a lot of rehearsal this morning, by the way. There you go. Can we have the sound? With the sound, it's a bit better. At least you can read. That's not so bad. So what you see basically is the explanation of what we've been doing. This is the typical things that we've been working. So the thinking was talking about 600,000 seedlings that we had to apply basically to this forest and how this would impact the life of our people that live around the forest and make business out of this. So I make the voiceover. That's the introduction basically of the company. What's starting to be more interesting, and that's Paper One, so that's what they produce. What's starting to be more interesting is that how we've been combining technology. So I was talking about drones, but I'm talking about also other type of sensors to come up with harvesting a lot of the data. And with data, what we can do is that we've applied that to machine learning so that eventually we can be much more predictive in how we manage the forest. I think that's the story behind that, compressing the time.
And forestry. Digital technologies such as data and analytics, mobility and devices, and cloud and security will all play a key role in enabling April's vision for a connected future. On its connected agriculture and forestry, the digital transformation would enable the workers at all levels in the field to detect and be alerted on falling growth and challenges of pest or disease, receive intelligent and predictive plantation insights on the ground and in the air, have near real-time plantation and estate visibility produced digitally, obtain operational visibility at an activity or compartment level, and optimize wood supply and obtain cost transparency.
I think the first and biggest benefits of going digital is through the capture of the data, the downloading, and getting standardized reporting immediately out to all the people in the field, to those running the business and making the decisions.
The connected agriculture and forestry marks a world first for both RGE and Accenture, helping RGE build a business that improves lives.
Good. Okay, so at least you get the sun at the end. I mean, you understand exactly what we're talking about. So that's just one example, okay? So how you protect your precious assets. And by the way, exactly the same platform can be replicated onto protecting other assets, like a refinery or a wells or something like this, okay? Now I want to give you another example, more and more example I'm going to give you. The other example that I want to give you is something that which is very hard, dear to my heart. It's what we do, again, for people, okay? So we're talking about forest, now we're going to talk about people, okay? And what we've been doing is that we've been partnering with a Child in Need Institute to build a platform called G-Power, for girls' power. And the idea is that what we want to do is that we want to address a big problem in India, which is for the girls that's underprivileged. There's like issues related to school dropout. There could be early marriages, for example, and it could be even human trafficking. But how are we going to predict that? What are we going to do about it? So we had to gather a lot of data, and we've been testing that on 6,000 families in 20 villages in West Bengal, all right? But how do you get the data? You need to put sensors. Well, we had a different idea. We're going to use the best sensor that exists on the planet today, the phone. And we built an application on that phone. And that application basically was able to correlate from 150 questions through data analytics to 25 main questions about information about those girls. And then we've been running analytics, machine learning again, to predict exactly when people could be in danger, when those girls could be in danger. And with this, we've been able to save already more than 300 girls from human trafficking. Now, let me tell you more about it. And we're going to run the video, this time with the sound, I'm sure. So let's run the video. You know more about it.
GPA, short for Girl Power, an innovative digital solution jointly developed by Accenture with the Child in Need Institute, CINI, focuses on enabling underprivileged girls make a healthy transition from childhood to a productive adulthood by addressing key issues such as school dropout, early marriage, and trafficking. G-Power empowers the community facilitators to register beneficiary on the go through a mobile device and electronically capture beneficiary data on key parameters such as education, protection, health and nutrition status. The solution then ensures quick transmission of data to centralized servers using cloud-based technology, and the analytics-based functions process the data to provide insights on potential vulnerabilities of adolescent girls in real time. This enables CINI to proactively intervene immediately, facilitate access to the most relevant services from government flagship programs to
no more sun.
children. G-Power currently works with over 6,000 families in 20 villages of Murshidabad and South 24 Parganas, 2 resource-poor districts of West Bengal, India, and has succeeded in readmitting schoolgirls into formal education, addressing cases of missing children and preventing child marriages.
So if you want to have more information about this solution, you can discuss with Sanjay here in front row, who leads basically our Bangalore lab. He's been working with his team, to set this up. I think it's a good example of IoT, mobile IoT by your phone, using the phone. But again, that's a sensor and how you leverage that using data analytics and machine learning. Now I want to shift gears, and I want to talk to you about some other areas that our labs are working. There's a lot of work we're doing in cybersecurity, obviously, and we talk about security. This is a big thing for us. We have 2 labs covering cybersecurity, one in Washington, D.C., where something is coming up today, and there's another one in Tel Aviv. By the way, if you want to be serious about cybersecurity, there's probably 3 organizations you need to work with. It's MI6 in UK, it's NSA in US, and it's probably Tel Aviv, the Israel army, okay? Because they're really good at cybersecurity too. And so we work with one of the spin-off of this army. It's called Team Aid's company, and we have done like a connection of Team Up. And we have built basically our cybersecurity lab in Tel Aviv out of this. One thing that we're working in, which is very interesting, is that how you can manage theft of your laptop, leveraging basically one of the unique sensor of your laptop, which is the keyboard. Yes, the keyboard is a sensor, believe it or not. Every time you type on your keyboard, we know exactly who's typing because we know the velocity of the way you type. You know how you press the the thumb on the space bar. And so we've been working on data protection, and we work with DARPA on this kind of project to understand exactly how you build a profile of the person typing on the keyboard so that you are uniquely recognized. And based on that, the people that steal basically your laptop and wants to enter the password will be rejected, even if he has the right password, because this is not exactly how you type your password, by the way. So again, that's a good example of how you leverage sensor technology, because sensor is absolutely everywhere, and how you apply that using machine learning for security theft. Okay? Oh, it was a very, quick example on a transformation of identification. Now, I want one more time to shift gears, because I'm running a little bit out of time, but I think it's going to be OK. And there's another big area that our labs is covering. It's manufacturing. I call that Industry X.0. And it's always coming back to combinatorial effect of combining different types of technology together. I tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. The way we will build product tomorrow is a completely different way than the way we've been building product yesterday. Why? Because all the product will be much more flexible than what we build today. You will have sensors in all the products you will buy. All those products will be connected on internet. And the modularity, the flexibility of this product will come from the software. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming from the software. And there's tons of examples already. If you buy a Tesla today, overnight, it gets upgraded. It has new services. Why? Because they have baked into Tesla sensors that at the time didn't know how to program. But they learned about it, and they started basically to bake that into the car. And that's how you develop basically new type of product. The toaster you're going to buy basically at the supermarket will have sensors. We'll know exactly how many slices of bread you eat every day. And eventually, we can connect that to some insurance company that's going to advise you about diabetes or something like that. When it's going to fall apart, I'm going to send you a digital blueprint. And I'm going to leverage blockchain, digital right management, basically, so that you can only print few parts of this. And I'll give you a YouTube video so that you know how to change the parts. You understand that IoT, machine learning, all this is going to be connected. But you heard about blockchain. You heard about eventually augmented reality, virtual reality. All this stuff is going to come together to redefine the Industry X.0. Now, I want to show you a real cool video. And I think I'll be done. I still have 4 minutes. The video is going to be about some work that we intend to do with our friends of us, and it's one of our clients. It's called Autodesk. Probably you know Autodesk. It's probably one of the leader in CAD/CAM design systems. They have built a lot of CAD/CAM design systems, and a lot of their software has been baked into many CAD/CAM design solutions of clients like Intergraph and so forth. Okay? What they've been doing is really interesting. And their thinking is the right one. We believe that the way you're going to build a product is not the end of it. The product will evolve over time. And it will evolve because it will know how you use it. And by using it, it will learn what you like most. And it will provide you with the best benefit of using this product. And on a car, let's see that you build a car with a chassis. We could put sensors on the chassis. And while you drive it, we figure out exactly the way the chassis works, where are the weakness points, where are the strong points. And by IoT analysis and data analysis, we can regenerate the design of the chassis. We call that generative design. And I want to show you how that works for building a drone. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is where manufacturing is going. IoT and machine learning for manufacturing. Let's run the video.
What if you could come up with thousands of options for a single...
I hope I convinced you that IoTNext is just a formidable opportunity for all of us. And using machine learning and data analytics and artificial intelligence, we're going to be doing fantastic things. We're going to revolutionize so many things. What's important for us is to look at definitely business value today for me is coming from IoT, but IoT at the power of AI. And Accenture loves to have an holistic view of these things, so we have expanded that a little bit to talk more about process, data, and human-centric solution at the power of AI. That's what we believe. Now, if I want to move a little bit further down, I would say, if you think about it, it's all about AI of IoT. If you combine the two, it would be more like AIoT. And that would be artificial intelligence of things. But at the end, all the intelligence is coming from, remember, machine learning and where you put people at the center of the solution. So their intelligence as well, combined with the product and the sensor. So let's get rid of the artificial, and let's call it IoT, like intelligence of things. Thank you very much.